Merry meet and welcome back to this witchy wonderland. I am your host, Silver Griffin, and today I have another story for you. I'm going to go back a couple years to back when I had was part of a ghost hunting team. And we had a call to go help out or investigate the home of a friend of ours, or a friend of one of our teammates. We went over there, and she told us that she'd been seeing some things, been experiencing some strange feelings, hearing noises, and she'd seen her roommate's, I guess, doppelganger or something like that. She had seen her roommate standing in her doorway and not responding to her, like, as she was speaking to her. And then I guess her roommate went into the room, or her bedroom or whatever, and a few minutes later she gets a call from her roommate to come and pick her up from the bar or something like that. So, like, her roommate was obviously not there, but she had plainly, obviously seen her. So we go, and there was four of us there that night. It was myself, the general sensitive, a quote-unquote psychic of the group, and a friend of ours who I'll call Kay was the resident skeptic. Another friend, the one who was a friend with the woman who requested aid, I will call him Skip. He was the antagonizer, or the one who would try to rile up the spirits to get them to manifest. And another friend, there who was also she was a sensitive as well, but she was there mostly as like a investigator or whatever. She was relying on more of like physical equipment and whatnot, as opposed to sensing and feeling things and all that witchy goodness. And I had also brought along a friend of mine because she had expressed interest in it and wanted to see what it was about. So I brought her along. We get there. The woman tells us what had happened, and immediately upon entering, I felt a very overwhelming, well, not overwhelming, but a very oppressive presence, and basically it did not want us there at all. And we got there, and I'm like, all right, let me see if I could at least shield my teammates, help protect them from this so they can experience it with a clearer head or a calmer head. So we're there going from room to room, and I'm picking up strong energies in little pockets of her apartment, and there's an overall pervasive sense of almost foreboding. And but I was also able to still feel like, sorry about that, dropped my phone. Still able to feel her energies and whatnot, commingling with it, and it felt a little more natural than the other sensations I was getting. So I go out onto the porch to have a cigarette. I am a smoker, which is a terrible, dirty habit. Don't start it. And so I go out on the porch to have a cigarette, along with the friend of mine that I had brought. And we're just sitting out there chatting, telling her what I'm feeling, and she's telling me what she's, picking up. And we look to our left inside the apartment, and we see this black swirling mass, like a smoke cloud or like a very tight cluster of gnats or mosquitoes or something in the apartment, and it like zooms out through the glass door and out into the property, or out into the parking lot area, where we lose track of it because it was nighttime at this point. So black on black is kind of hard to see. And I'm going to bring you out here so we don't get that ambient noise from the heater kicking on. We were able to pick up some interesting thermal evidence, or thermal readings rather. Caught an EVP or two. One was like a very definite growl. There were no animals in the property, and none of us had made the sound. And so we're sitting, we got done, we're sitting down in the living room, and we're telling her what we had initially gotten, and then we were going to go home and look over video evidence and over the recordings and compile whatever we could to show to her afterwards. And we're sitting there, and my head is just pounding from this entity trying to get at me to like stop shielding my friends and to like basically just get us out. So finally I'm like, all right, fine, whatever, enough. And I drop it, and as I do, we hear, "Get out!" And they all immediately get the same headache I've been experiencing, which at this point was quite severe. And everyone sort of freaks out, starts looking at one another. And I explained to them what I'd been doing and what I'd been experiencing. And the lady who lived there was freaked, I think is an apt way of putting it. So she asks if there's anything that we can do to help. And I turned to her and I'm like, well, separate from the group, I can offer you services, but as a practitioner of witchcraft and not as a paranormal investigator. Because that's one thing that the group wanted to make a definite distinction between. And I agree. So I tell her that I can come back with materials such as smudge stick and whatnot, and help cleanse her apartment. And if that didn't work, I could do a full-on banishing and whatnot. But in the meantime, I could, if she had an object that she would keep on her perpetually for a while, I could bless it and enchant it in a protection spell. She gladly accepted, handed me a ring that she normally wore. I put a quick little, protection ditty on it, and she thanked us, and we all left, including her. She decided not to stay the night there, and I haven't heard from her since. This is 7 years ago, something like that. And if you happen to be watching this, by the way, I'm sorry if we freaked you out, if we frightened you, and I hope you got the situation resolved or moved or something, or I hope you were able to get out of that environment. But anyway, so we went back and we looked at the tapes and whatnot, and a lot of what we got back was like static, which was strange. Like even some of the voice recordings, a lot of it, like you couldn't even hear us, it was just static. And we tested the equipment and it was fine. Like we normally we test the equipment before we go into the place to check that it's working properly, and it was. And then we tested it afterwards and it was still working. So That was strange. Um, but anyway, that was another story from my path with things I've experienced in my wishy life. Uh, have you had any strange experiences with paranormal? Have you uh, gone ghost hunting or and stuff like that? These are questions I have, and I'd like to hear them in the comments section below, and I will respond when I see them. Because I like talking to people. I like sharing experiences, and I certainly like storytelling. And I believe we can change the world one story at a time. And sometimes the best stories are the ones that are true. So, I'll say see you later. As we have merry met, do we now merry part till we merry meet again. Blessed be.